Ah, you're back. Good to see you again. Uh, yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, and quite frankly, a lot has happened since then. Obviously, we're all under quarantine, and it's the end of the world as we know it. Um, for those of you who are watching this, you found this in some archaeological dig. Uh, right now, it's 11:07 p.m. on March 20th, 2020. Tulsa is on complete shutdown in terms of restaurants and public places, concerts, etc., 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 because of the coronavirus. How many people have it? We don't know. But everyone's trying to play it safe, or at least uh, some percentage. I was in a convenience store bathroom a couple of times today, and each time I was the only person that seemed to be seriously washing their hands. But aside from that, I think we'll get through this. I mean, hell, our forefathers defeated Hitler. Um, since I did one of these last time, I was hospitalized. Last year, basically, I shot 14 hours of Noise Fest, and I started editing that, doling it out slowly every, a few every week. And somewhere in there, I just ran out of energy. For 6 years, I've been dealing with an ulcer that was on my leg. I have problems with swelling. My whole family has problems with swelling. And I developed an ulcer. I do not have diabetes, which is good. But we could get one leg to heal, and we got the rest of it to heal except one little area. Well, last year it started getting bigger. Long story short, we were trying to get funding from the IHS, as I am Native American, as part of the payment for this land everyone's living on. And yeah, we got approval, but we could never get the money from the Indian Health Service to the hospital. It was basically I was misdiagnosed, and we were waiting around for this test when I started going septic, basically, or we go into early stages of some bad, bad, bad infection. I was in the hospital. They ran all the tests on me, including this one scan. And yeah, turned out I didn't need surgery. I'd been misdiagnosed, not by one doctor, but by every doctor that saw me. Everyone thought I needed surgery, that I had some kind of blockage within my arteries, when in fact, no. The problem was simply that I had so much infection in my body that my body never healed, and the wound was getting bigger and bigger. So I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, well, and in and out of the emergency room for like 6 weeks before that. And in 2 weeks, I was basically hooked up to an IV, and they got rid of all the infection. They said that the infection just never completely left, so it was just in the body and staying there, which is why I wasn't healing. Since that time, started a new diet. Uh, Now I'm low sodium and uh, restricted liquid. And also, I've started drinking more water instead of depending on everything having to be caffeinated. We got, generic water bottles all over the place. We do have this enormous Coke bottle here that's a project for this weekend. Basically, I think I'm going to hang it in the air like a zeppelin. Anyway, so long story short, I started dieting before I went into the hospital. And at this point, I've lost 45 pounds, and hopefully more. I haven't been to the doctor in a couple of days. And exercising regularly, walking the dogs regularly, and I feel better than I have in a long, long time. Uh, I kind of feel like my neck. I look like I'm deflating now. Starting to get that Michael Moore neck. Anyway, I had planned to get back into the video and interviewing some of my friends who, are artists. I've been in this, journalism stuff so long that I know, my my regular network of friends are, you can do a series just on these people I hang out with. And, while I was in the hospital, actually, I had this mapped out on, I was going to do like five, edit those together. I had some stuff that never even got out because of all this illness. Like I said, I just felt like crap for about 6 months. And I should add, I was getting really, really depressed also because I was worried what was going to happen. Am I going to lose my leg or what? But anyway, nothing happened that bad, so everything's back to normal there. Uh, Touching my face as much as possible here today. Anyway, I have not been around anyone for hours, and so I think I'm fairly safe right now. I hope. Rowdy's sitting back there. But um, So anyway, I'm planning to make more videos. For right now, I'm planning to make some around here. I'd hope to do a piece at Gilcrease, guerrilla style if I had to, but I do, I think that's kind of off limits now. I have friends I was going to go to their studio and talk to, but while I don't think they're sick, I don't think we ought to be promoting that kind of thing. So we might do some Skype interviews. I'm not real sure in the meantime. I do like to talk about records, and I'll be posting things of me and the dogs, and I kind of miss Anonymous, and I don't get to post pictures of food anymore, so I'm trying to get Anonymous to send me pictures of food that Anonymous is eating, and possibly, making a meme where you could have both of those together so those who are wondering can see what we are eating. There are people who seem to follow that for some weird reason. Um, Other than that, what else can I say? It's Tulsa, Oklahoma. We have a marijuana dispensary on every damn corner. It's worse than vapes were when that got popular. I never knew there was this much weed being grown, and I'm the one who all never had a doubt that we could pass this. But yeah, it's gotten crazy. It's gotten competitive. Prices seem to be dropping. People are going on this tier schedule now instead of just, the first place I uh, bought legal medical marijuana from with a card was is since sold that business or changed owners or changed their name or something. I'm already dry from what I just smoked. And I think it was something like $17 or $18 a gram, and a card swipe on their ATM was like $10 a swipe. I never went back there, obviously, and I should add that luckily I was with a bank where I got free like 6 free swipes on my card, and I seldom used. I seldom needed cash. So, yeah, now, there are places that are advertising $5 grams. I'm not saying that's going to be the greatest weed in the world, but that's a long way from where we were when we started all this. Um, and I should add also, I used to have a rule of thumb that the fancier the pot store, the more expensive the pot is, because you're paying for that. Well, that's starting to change. I was in one that was down in South Tulsa. It was so snooty, I felt like I should be buying an engagement ring. And they actually had lower prices than our old homeboy over here, Jake's Beyond Bud or whoever. So yeah, times have changed, and with this, I'm kind of interested in seeing what happens with this. Um, Shutting down the whole city. I talked to a woman who worked at a sex shop, and she said business is booming because people are at home. So, yeah, interesting times. How this economy is going to continue without anyone working is beyond me. And I mean, my God, I'm like a Bernie Sanders Jane socialist, and I'm worried about giving away, thousands of dollars to everybody. So, with that, I should add, this is my bedroom if you've never figured out where I am. Some people thought I was interviewing people in a bookstore. No, those are books, those are records, There's a cow skull here at the edge of the screen. There it is. Like I said, you can vaguely see, you might be able to see Rowdy down there. I don't know. This is probably going to mess up the whole shot, but there he is. Oh, by the way, rocking a Screaming Stephen Jones t-shirt, Buster Keaton tonight. Felt like dressing up for the video. Everybody else is, looks like a slob. I thought, well, what's my newest t-shirt at least? Um, that's pretty much it. However, I wouldn't do these if I didn't babble about records. So let's do some. I decided to pull my Monkees record, my albums, not the singles. We'll get to those, but some Monkees records. And right now, this is what I have on LP. I'm going to talk about it because as a record collector, there's more to collecting. I mean, to me, it's almost an emotional or memorabilia thing. It's not just, having originals or, half-speed masters or everything has to be a Chinese import or whatever, or Japanese import with a obi strip. And I'm really, to me, there's a lot of reasons to have a record in my collection. Not necessarily always to listen to it, because some of these are a little scratchy. I mean, yeah, I still play them, but, I can also listen to them on Google Play. So, which I have instead of Spotify because I subscribe to YouTube, which you're watching now probably. Unless you're watching this like in 2050 and YouTube is some ancient thing of the past like the Tiffany network is to my crowd. But okay, first Monkees album. This is it. This is Hey Hey with the Monkees, that album that my mother gave me in 1967 or 66, whenever it was. And, it's beat to absolute hell. It's given to me in 1967. But, it's so thick and heavy, it's still pretty playable. And, I mean, Sweet Young Thing is something to listen to, even if it's scratchy on the original vinyl. Another one given to me by my mother, more of the Monkees' second album, given to me whenever it was new. And it's, another one of those. Beat the hell. When I say beat the hell, when I was a child, my father showed me how you put a turntable together. He was an electrician in the Army. And so, it was like I had a homemade turntable that I helped build when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and they were played on that. And trust me, even though my father was an electrician, he did not know anything about how to get, the delicacy of a vinyl record. This I bought probably about 10 years ago. It's Headquarters by the Monkees, a nice clean copy, and it's mono, which is everyone else is rather into. I actually prefer stereo mixes. To me, psychedelic is stereos. But, I mean, it's cool. I love it. It's in the collection. And this one, I think this may come from a junk, like an antique mall, I'm sorry, or something. And it's just, it's the Rhino 1986 pressing of Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones Limited. Has Rhino instead of the Coal Gems. What else do we have? The Birds, the Bees, and the Monkees, and yeah, I believe this is one my mother gave me. That has Coal Gems on it. I think this all might be reversed. I think you're looking at a mirror of me. Part of the reason the Monkees are so important to me is the first record I ever walked into a record store and bought with my own money was this one here, Head, with the Mylar, famous reflective Mylar cover. It's called Head, so when you look into it, you see your head. I mean, you can't, but you get the idea. And my mother always called it Bill's Tea. There was a record store in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, that closed probably around 1970, 71, I'd say. And my mother called it Bill's Tea, which was a chain here in Tulsa. And I've since been told, in no uncertain terms by the owner, that there was no Bill's Tea record in Pawhuska. So my mother just probably called every record store Bill's Tea. But anyway, Head. One of my favorite albums. I've left notes behind, which I'm sure everyone will forget, that were I to die, if there's any kind of memorial, I think the Porpoise song would be pretty appropriate, because, man, that's something when I was 7 years old, I used to just sit there and listen to over and over and over on this record on my homemade turntable. This is a much nicer copy. I bought this from our buddy Jay Hancock a few months back, and yeah, it's a very, very nice copy. It has a couple of little hairline scratches that you don't hear, but man. And then this, I think I bought along with the mono uh, uh, headquarters. I think I got those at Vintage Stock, which is a chain here in Tulsa. And Rhino Records, good old Rocky Rhino uh, label there. Monkey Flips. What year was this? 1984 compilation, second pressing. Two songs are different than the first pressing. And last but not least, Monkees, Missing Link. What year was this? 1987 comp. Once again, Rhino. And this is a bunch of stuff that, for the most part, a lot of it sounds unfinished. Ideas rolling around, but, it's a Monkees record. And, of course, the Monkees, to the people my age, the Beatles were already kind of old hat and off doing psychedelics and, day in the life and all that. When we were catching the Monkees reruns. I saw the Monkees first round on NBC, the 7 o'clock slot, but I think I really got to know them better, or became, kind of had it jammed in my head with the Saturday morning reruns, and that's kind of when we kind of discovered, the genius of the Monkees. And, there are Monkey songs that are as important to me as anything by the fucking Beatles. I mean, Sweet Young Thing by Michael Nesmith alone, You May Only Be the One, Daddy's song, the Nilsson song, done by Davey. There's just many, many great songs throughout the Monkees catalog. Anyway, that's enough of screaming. Well, actually, no, one more story. I got to see the Monkees after Davey died, and it was the three remaining ones. Peter, unfortunately, has died since then. But they came out. I was at the Brady Theater in Tulsa, and, it's the Monkees. I feel like, I'm at an Oxbury Farm concert. One like, hey, we're the Monkees. But instead, they pulled Head, Head, out of their ass and played the entire thing as the grand finale of the show. They didn't advertise it. It wasn't like, Heart touring with Dreamboat Annie or I saw The Who doing Quadrophenia. Well, two of them at least. But Head, when the Porpoise song began, there were like, you could hear like 30, 40 people in the auditorium screaming their head off, crying, and everyone else got up to get a beer. And then by the time you get to Do I Have to Do This All Over Again, 4 or 5 songs in, or As We Go Along, there's hardly anyone left in the damn auditorium except for, the 20 of us who were, screaming our heads off because, none of us ever expect to see that live. Anyway, I've talked enough. 20 minutes is way too long. You don't want to hear this. Anyway, be back. Wash your hands. What can I say? Let's be careful out there. Talk to you soon.